Well, hello everyone. It's a great day with Mother Teresa, and we're going to be grandstanding again on tonight. I want to thank everyone who is joining me for this live on tonight, and hopefully we will be able to complete it without having any technical difficulties. I want to apologize in advance just in case we do. But on tonight, what I wanted to share with you and talk to you a little bit about is self-care and well-being. What I wanted to talk to you a little bit about is how do we nurture our soul, one self-care ritual at a time. And so on tonight, I have a couple of things that I wanted to give to you, and just hopefully it will be some things that you can use. Of course, we hear a lot of talk nowadays about self-care. And of course, some people think when you're talking about self-care, they immediately go to what are the things that I can do to relax? If it's ladies, they may think, okay, I'm going to go to get my nails done. I'm going to go get my pedicure, manicures. I go get my hair done. And I'm not saying those are bad things. I'm just saying that's not the only way that you can do self-care. Sometimes, again, self-care can be relaxing with a book. It can be relaxing on your back porch. It could be relaxing by the beach. It could just be able to just sit in silence for a little bit. But those are the things when we're talking about self-care and well-being, we've got to remember it's more than just a handful of things. It could be a variety of things. So on tonight, I wanted you to think about what are some of the ways that you use to relax? What are some of the ways that you use to rejuvenate? How do you, what strategies or what routines do you have to put your mind at ease, to bring a sense of calm over you? What are those things that you typically do? And I'm going to share some things that I personally do and also give you some suggestions of some things that you might want to consider. Some things that might make you say, I never thought about that. Okay, so when we're talking about self-care and well-being, again, we want to remember that we are talking about how do we best take care of ourselves, both mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and also socially. So I want to talk about those 5 areas of the different things that we can do. And of course, when most people, like I said, when you think about self-care, again, a lot of times people will go to the physical side of it. And so those are the things that you typically may want to think of, or some people think of, oh, I'm going to go and pamper myself. And again, that is great, but that's not all you can do. But those are the things that when you're talking about the physical things, basically we're talking about taking care of our body. And again, those can be those things, but it could also be for those that enjoy walking or running. Those may be some things that you enjoy doing, and that is your self-care. Those are the things that when you're feeling like, hey, I need to make sure that I'm feeling good, or I want to unwind, or I want to make sure that I am feeling the best that I can be, then they may go jogging, they may go running, they may go exercising. I have a neighbor that almost every day when we get up and I'm headed to work, I can tell that she's been out there and she's been running the neighborhood. And typically I see her out there almost every day. She's not the only one, but she is the one that I typically will see almost on a daily basis. And I can almost guarantee you that that is one of the things that she does for her physical body, that to make her feel good, to make her feel well. And of course, again, there are other ways and there are other things that you can do. One of the things that I enjoy doing, and I'm not the one that enjoy walking or exercising. However, when I was doing that, it did make me feel good. I have to be honest. When I would go, when I would work out, when I would finish, of course, I dreaded doing it, but when I would finish, I would feel so much better. So I know that it's good for my body, and I need to get back into the habit of doing that. Y'all pray for me. I need to get back in the habit of doing that. But I know that it feels good. Another thing, physically, when we're talking about self-care and well-being, because those two kind of go hand in hand together. When you're talking about self-care, we're talking about the well-being for the overall well-being of your physical body. One of the things my son has tried to really get me to do every morning, and again, I start things and I don't finish it, and I need to do better. So yeah, again, y'all pray for me. But one of the things that he has suggested is that he said, Mom, you need to stretch every morning before you get out of the bed, or as soon as you get out of the bed. He said, do your stretches, get that exercise where you are just, limbering up your body, getting your body to the point where it's not all kind of stowed up and everything. And he said, you can start by doing 5 minutes of stretching every morning. It does work. Absolutely, it works. Do I do it all the time? Most of the time? Hardly ever. Again, one of the things that I need to get back to doing is stretching, because it does a body good. Just like they say, milk does a body good, stretching does a body good. And again, as I am getting older, I know that I need to be incorporating that into my daily ritual and routine. So that is one thing that, as I am on this journey of journaling, and again, don't forget, I'm going to tell you all a little bit about my journal before we finish. But one of the things with journaling is that that is one of the things that we can write down, that we want to start doing some of these things that will be helpful to our mind, our body, and our soul. So I've talked a little bit about the physical things and how we take care of our body. One of the other ways of self-care and well-being is dealing with your social being. And that is keeping those connections with other people in your lives. And of course, I am really big about spending time with my family, as much time as I can. And sometimes that's just a little bit of time. It doesn't necessarily mean that I want to spend every single day with my extended family, because of course I do know that there are times when I need just that time for myself, or that time that I just need for me and my husband. Or, and then there are other times that I just need the time, like for just me and maybe a couple of my grandchildren or whatever. And of course, my kids. But that time that you spend with your friends and your loved ones, please don't discount the significance of that, because it means so very much to have that time where you can spend with your making those connections. And I tell you, it really does something to me to be able to have that time. I get so excited, first of all, when I'm thinking about going home to be with my mom and having that time. And it may not be in an extended amount of time, but any little bit of time that I get to go to Nacogdoches. And my director, she often would kid me, and she said, Miss Caldwell, I noticed you get a little extra pep in your step when you say that you're going to Nacogdoches. And I'm like, yes, I'm going home. I'm going home. So I'm excited about being able to go home, and being excited about going and spending time with my mom and with my family if they're there. So having that time to spend with your family, your loved ones. My family came over today, and let me tell you how God works. I woke up this morning thinking it would be nice if my kids came over, if the girls came over, and if they brought the grandkids. Little did I know that evidently they were thinking the same thing, because when I finally was able to visit with my oldest daughter, Nick, she said, and I asked her, what is she doing? She said, I'm headed to your house. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I think later on she told me, or Candace said, well, we're coming over too. And I was like, great. That's what I was thinking about. I really woke up with that on my mind today. And so those types of things where you have those, even if it's an impromptu visit with your family, take advantage of it and enjoy it. We didn't do anything special. We didn't do anything that people would probably say was spectacular. Of course, we're on break this week, so we didn't do anything that somebody probably put on their to-do list, but it is something that we enjoy, just being able to come together, spend some time, laugh at those grandkids, just kind of, catch up with one another and being in each other's presence. There is joy in that. There is an enormous sense of joy for me to be able to do that. So we talked about physical. I talked a little bit about social, and don't discount your friends. So when you're talking about those social connections, make sure that you are interacting with your friends as well. So you'll have that connection as well. Sometimes our friends can be just like our families. And I can remember a period of time when we were much younger and a part of Davis Memorial, most of the people that were in our circle were just like my family. I was probably around them more than I was with my family because we were in church all the time. It was like we had a slogan, rain, hail, sleet, or snow, Davis Memorial is the place to go, because we were in church all the time. So they were like really like my family. So don't discount those connections with your friends as well. Another thing that I want to talk about is our mental health. And of course, this is very important to me in the line of work that I am. That's part of what I do on a daily basis, is ensuring the mental health of the students in our school district, is making sure that they're okay, making sure that they are not having any types of crisis or outcries and different things like that. And of course, and if they are, then part of my job is to oversee, to make sure that they are receiving those interventions from our team. And then, of course, when we think about the mental health, what are you doing to fill your mind with good things, and with those things that are nurturing, those things that are wholesome? What are you filling your mind with? Because a lot of times we can fill our minds with a lot of junk and a lot of stuff, and it will have us all off kilter. It will have us thinking about things and that's really not true. It's really not positive. It can put us in a very negative state. So what are you filling your mind with? What are you allowing to come into your being, into your mind, that totally gets you in a state where you're not mentally stable? And then if you do have a diagnosis with a mental health condition, be sure that you have taken care of getting the appropriate help. Again, as I state, the line of work that I am a licensed social worker. I do have a master's degree in counseling. So that is my background. So when I say that I understand a lot of different things when it comes to how people react and interact and think and feel and do and whatever, that's my training, that's the background, but it's also a calling that I know that God has gifted me with. And so mentally, we need people well. If there is medication that you need to take, if you believe in that, make sure you're taking your medication. I had a conversation with my daughter just on today, and we were discussing how a lot of times when people are ill, if they have a heart condition, they don't think twice about taking medication for their heart condition. If they have diabetes, they don't think twice about taking the medication for their diabetes. But if you have a mental disorder, a lot of times we struggle with taking medications or getting therapy for that. And I don't know if it's because that is something that was a part of maybe our history, where we did not believe that you should go to a therapist. Because a lot of times I can just tell you, we believe, culturally, I can say in some cultures, they believe that first of all, we're going to pray everything away. And if not that, then we're just, we're not going to seek out the traditional medication. We're going to seek other things. And I'm not saying that is wrong. Whatever works for you works for you. But I believe that the faith that I have, that it allows me to have a spiritual covering, but if I needed some help from a mental health professional, then I would seek after that as well. I shared a message along with my director at a church a couple of years ago. And I want to say that we talked about it's okay to believe in God and have a therapist too. Absolutely, it is okay. So when we think about again, the mental side of it, and which brings me right up into the spiritual, because I was, kind of talking about that as well. But how are we nurturing our spirit? So when we're talking about our self-care and well-being, how are you nurturing your spirit? A lot of times people will say, well, I believe in this and I believe in that. And that's not what I'm here to discuss on tonight. For those of you that believe like I do, like I believe in God. I believe in the Father. I believe in the Holy Spirit. And that's, I pray. That's how I pray. And that's who I honor, is the one and only living God. And so when I know that for me, the way that I nurture my spirit is ensuring that I have a relationship with Christ and making sure that I am trying my very best to live according to what the Word of God says. And when I do that, that helps me. That helps my well-being. That helps me to know that I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, what other people do, and like I said, I'm not here to debate what people do or what people believe. I can only share that these are some things that is helpful for me. The last one I wanted to share with you all is our emotional well-being. So these are, when I think about the way that we cope emotionally, how have you learned, or what are some of the skills, the coping skills that you have learned to deal with uncomfortable situations in your life? And so, when you have those uncomfortable situations in your life, basically you go back to sometimes a primitive method of doing things. Sometimes we go back to the way that we've been raised. We go back to what we have, what we know. And a lot of times you have to be taught different strategies of how to deal with things emotionally. Those are things, are coping skills of how to deal with those things. I often say that we all have our experiences. We all have things that have happened in our past that makes us who we are. But how do you deal with those things? How do you deal with those childhood traumas? How do you deal with those traumas that happen to you even as an adult? What are some of the strategies that you have learned to cope with? What are some of the strategies that you have learned to deal with those things? And sometimes we can have some unhealthy coping skills, and they are things that we do that I would say could be possibly illegal, but it could be more harmful to your body, or it may cause other things to creep up on you if you're not careful with how you deal emotionally with the things that have happened, or those experiences that have happened in your life. So one of the things that I like to say is we've got to have some time where we can process some things. Again, everybody has experiences. Everybody has their life stories. Everybody has a story. Everybody. Some of the stories may be more traumatizing than others, but we all have stories. So how have you learned to deal with the traumas and the stories and the experiences that you've encountered in your life? I hope that you've learned, and I hope that you've learned some strategies and some skills to be able to help you to deal with that. And if not, as a mental health professional, I would advise you to seek out help. There are a lot of times there are benefits that you have in the workplace. We have a great employee assistance program with where I work that will allow us that are having some traumas and wanting to deal with some of the things in our lives to seek out. And so I would advise you, make sure that you're utilizing all of your resources. There are other resources that we have within the church. If you are a believer, there is Christian counselors that are in the church. And of course, being able to go to your pastor, being able to go to the pastor's wife, or there may be people that are assigned to your congregation that's what they do, is that they help to deal and help you with some of the emotional things that's going on in your lives. And then, of course, we do have free services that are in the community that if you know where to go, or even sometimes if you don't know where to go, you can always call 211 and let them know. And that's just literally dialing. We're familiar with 911. Some of you all may not be familiar with 211 and 988. Those are some resources that you can call, that if you're needing some additional supports emotionally, you can pick up the phone and you can dial those things. So I've talked a lot about on tonight about self-care and our well-being, but I also wanted to give a little bit of time to just kind of talk about me as an individual, and how I've learned to deal and cope with some of the things that have happened, my experiences and my story. I do know that having a great family support is key. When we're thinking about self-care and well-being, you've got to have some good family supports. You've got to have some people that you can trust with your stories and with your experiences to share them with and to talk about them. Because if you don't, you hold all this stuff inside. You keep all this stuff bottled up inside, and it's like you're about to explode. But if you have some people in your lives that you can talk to, whether it's your husband, I thank God for my husband, whether it's your husband or your children. And these don't have to be adult children, because let me tell you, some of these young people that are teenagers or preteens, they know how to listen, and they are, like people say, old souls. They can give you a word if you listen. But we've got to be able to trust somebody. We often tell our young people, find one trusting adult that you can talk to, that you can share when something is going on. And I would say, even as adults, find that one person as an adult, that one trusting adult in your life that you can share. Now, we don't want to overburden them. We don't want to dump all of our stuff on them. But if you have that type of relationship with them, go ahead, let them have it. Because if you can get it out and you can talk about it, that's one of the first steps of being able to heal, is to be able to have conversations where you can get rid of all of that stuff that has been bogging you down. So having said that, again, having my family, having some trusted adults in my family that I can talk to about some of the situations and some of the things that, bothered me as a young person, even as an adult, has been very therapeutic. One of the other things that I will tell you, again, what I stated about having being able to have a therapist. Before I could graduate with my master's degree in counseling, we had to be counseled. We had to go through counseling. And so there were some things that were, that I remembered, that came to, that I had, denied. I had kind of put it in denial, had suppressed it and whatever. And it all came tumbling out during my time in counseling. And those were some things that I had to really deal with, and I had to really do some soul searching to see how I was going to handle that. Would I allow it to, cause me to sink into a state of depression? Absolutely not. I had to, deal with it head on and deal with it. And that's what I did. And so I'm so very thankful, again, being able to do that. The things that I enjoy is being able to get out and travel. Share with you all over the last couple of months of the my husband and I, when we were able to just get in the truck and just drive. No particular destination in mind. Well, we kind of had a destination in mind, but just driving the back roads and enjoying the beauty, enjoying the scenery. I cannot tell you how that felt. It was amazing. Not necessarily having a time to be checking into a hotel here or a hotel there, not a destination here or a destination there, but being able to just drive. And then if we saw something, guess what? We were able to stop and enjoy the scenery. And it was freeing. It was, it's kind of liberating to just kind of not have that schedule or that itinerary where we had to keep on top of it, to keep in, I say on top of it, but stick to it so strictly that it would not allow us to just kind of be free and just kind of do what we wanted to. Again, it was probably one of the best experiences, the best vacations that I've had in a long time. So being able to, travel and to be able to just kind of do some of those things is great. So what are your things that you enjoy doing? I'm going to leave you with what are some things that you've done? What are some of the ways that you take care of yourself? What are some things that you do for your physical, social, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being? Think about those things. And I hope that you have put some things in place. I hope that you have some people in your life that you can talk to, that when you need them, and they listen. And not only that you have some people in your life that you can talk to, but also, are you a person that someone else can come and talk to? We're not always going to be that person that we're needing someone else to, so we can, to help us feel good. But are you a person that someone else can come and share their thoughts and their concerns and dump all of their stuff on you? And are you strong enough to hear it? Are you strong enough to deal with it? Okay. So again, thank you all so very much for tuning in with me on tonight. Again, I wanted to just share my heart. For those that are, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you for tuning in. We started on last week, this journey, and my hopes and what I want to do is to have like a weekly live chat that I can share different things on my heart, and then also some of the things that's happening in the world. But I can tell you this, I believe that I was called to encourage people. I believe that God called me to do the things that I'm doing right now. And I feel like if I have a platform, even if it's one or two people that are joined in, then I'm doing what I need to do. And I know that God will be well pleased because I have been obedient. Yes, I did put it off for a year, just trying to get some things in order. But guess what? That year gave me some additional experiences. That year gave me some time to kind of figure out how I wanted to put this out. This is not an easy thing of being able to just kind of pour out your heart and spirit and soul to people that you're not even aware who may be on the line or the live, but you have to do I have to do what God tells me to do. So if I'm pouring out, guess what? The people that need to hear what I have to say, then so be it. This is what I'm doing what God has asked me to do. And by chance, if you're hearing this after the live and it's on a replay, go ahead and leave those comments. Go ahead and leave the information and share with me what are your self-care tips and strategies, and how are you taking care of yourself? What are those well-being things that you have put into place? And also, at the end of the day, how do you unwind? What are some of the things that you do to unwind, or your favorite self-care rituals? I think I've already asked that or shared that. But not only that, help me to grow this channel. Help me to grow the presence that I have. And what I mean by that is that if you like what you're hearing, talk to someone, tell them about it, and invite them to come back on next Tuesday at 7 o'clock to join in with us. And then share the lives, share the information that I am putting out there. And then also, if you haven't subscribed to I do have a YouTube channel as well. Been having it since 2017. Didn't even realize that I had it. So I'm also uploading information there. So if you're not a subscriber, please be a subscriber and look at some of the information that I've shared there. It may be a little bit redundant, but I do plan to have some things over there as well. And when I have enough subscribers, I can go live on YouTube as well. So again, thank you all so very much. My goal is to just be with you all for about 30 minutes because I can keep going on and on and on, but I don't want to bore anybody, and I don't want to be on here just to be talking, just to be talking. What I have to say, I feel like I can deliver it in 30 minutes. And when we are coming back together, I'm hoping that I didn't keep you too long, that you feel like I don't want to go back and listen to her again because she talks too much. So you all have a great night on tonight. Thank you again for grandstanding with Mother Teresa. And I want you all to make sure that you tune back in on next Tuesday at 7. Y'all have a great night on tonight. Bye-bye, everybody.